Well, I'm pretty fiery, and I'm working really hard to get them to believe how good they can be. And the big part for us was to be aggressive, to compete, and to fight no matter what was going on in the game. That was a really key element that we in our approach to the game. And there were a couple moments that we faded, but for the most part, I thought that we did do just that.
Inside presence, I guess, how much of a factor was that?
Well, for us, we have two juniors playing at the 5 spot for us, and we just talked about it, but they've got to be a little more dependable for us, and they're working on that, and I know they'll get there. But you have to capitalize, and we have to get buckets at the basket. It's a big part of our strategy, and we have to get more production from Brittany and Aaron at the basket when we're going to them. Neither one scoring double figures for us, so that's something that we'll get back to work on tomorrow. And I know they want it, and I know they'll get there, and they've shown that they can do it. And they have to get that confidence, knowing that they can do it against a Baylor and not just an Abilene Christian. And that's kind of the next step in their progression, and we'll help them get there for sure. But defensively, it hurt us. Brown was in foul trouble, but so were we. We had 7 fouls at the 5 position in the first 2 quarters. On the flip side of that, we have to obviously be smarter and take care of our business and not take ourselves out of the game while she's out of the game, so that we can take advantage of those moments.
Christian played 35 minutes, obviously had the 19 points. How important is it for you to just kind of develop someone that can kind of help her in these type of games where in conference you do need those multiple double-figure scores?
Yes, we always want at least 3 people in double figures. We didn't have that third scorer tonight, as you mentioned and alluded to, and to take pressure off of them. We want to be able to go inside. We want to be able to come back to Chrislyn. We want to be able to then go to a wing or a 4-man. And that wing and 4-man presence, tonight it was the 5, but we need the scoring to be distributed a little more equally so that we don't have all the pressure on one player, in particular a freshman point guard, who I thought in her first time playing in this kind of an environment handled it fairly well. She took some shots that maybe we wouldn't want her to take down the road, but for the most part, with everything she was handling at the point position against this team, I thought that she showed a lot of poise and growth even from the Oklahoma game.
Coach, before the game, we talked about how rebounding would be a big part of this game, and even though Baylor ended up winning it, it seemed like for a while you guys were winning that, especially in the first half. How do you feel like the team battled down low and how they did overall?
Not quite enough, but to your point, it was a key to the game. When you're playing someone like Baylor, you have to limit possessions. It's very key, and you have to limit them to 1 shot. And we were 2 rebounds average-wise this week behind them in rebounding in the conference as Baylor than us. So it's something we made a challenge to our team. I thought a lot of those came later in the game, and if we could have gotten them early on, and we wanted to out-rebound them by +5 was our game goal. So that's something that we'll, again, go back and look at. But you definitely have to limit possessions of a team like Baylor. Our transition defense needed to be a little bit sharper at times. That hurt us earlier in the game, second quarter, a little bit in the third quarter. They're going to come down the floor. They kind of pick and choose their moments. And I thought we weren't real sharp with that a few times during that opportunity in the third quarter to get it to 10.
Coach, how did this game make your team better?
Well, in a lot of ways. Great question. But look, we outscore them by 6 in the fourth. Even though they had some subs in, we understand that, but we still outscore them. Ending the game with, like I said, the 17-point differential. End of the first quarter, it's a 6-point game. And, second quarter, 9-point game, and then third quarter, the 7 points that we scored really hurt us. But I think there are just multiple takeaways, positives that we can grow from in this game. And take into the next one when we come here and play Kansas this week.
Just pushing in transition and getting my teammates involved and making the right shots and making the right plays.
Just overall, I guess, what was it like just kind of going back and forth with them? Because you guys were obviously kind of taking your shots, they were taking their shots.
Just controlling what we can control, and that's our attitude, energy, and effort. So I would say defending them at a high level and not really having them shoot outside shots.
Sydney, I guess just kind of watching the scout and then kind of seeing them in person, what did you kind of see from Baylor?
They're very athletic, and they can definitely defend the ball really well, and their inside presence is obviously a big strength of theirs, and so that was a big key to our scout.
Sydney, how would you compare just the level of intensity that was required from you guys tonight against a team that Coach Stallings just said, man, has a real shot to be able to take this all the way?
I mean, I think it was huge. I think we had to come out fighting and punching. It was intense. I think the crowd helped us a lot. The fan base we have is incredible, and it was amazing to play out there with all that energy. And so that was great. I mean, we had to bring it, and we're going to continue to get better. We're going to continue to step up.